Well, how goes it, you beautiful awakened souls, and welcome any new awakening souls to Consciously Unconscious Me, where we talk about a bunch of random topics to help you stop ignoring the obvious and maybe to understand the not so obvious. I am Hugh, and my goal is to help you see you more vibrantly. Um, and today's topic is going to be a little bit about the new moon and the energies and what to expect with it being a Gemini new moon. But before we get into that, I wanted to let you all know that if you got some crap on your chest, stuff on your mind that you just want to get off, you want to vent, you can go to my website, consciouslyunconscious.me, and schedule an appointment, book the vent intent schedule or schedule service. And you can just tell me what you got going on, what's frustrating you, what's working for you, just whatever you got going on. You tell me about it, and then what we will do is set some intentions, to help you um, get over anything that might be blocking you, hindering you, not working for your highest good, and then we improve upon what actually is working for you, right? So, again, you can go to consciouslyunconscious.me to book that service. Or if you like to know what it is you are attracting to yourself, what you are consciously co creating with spirit, you can schedule a laws of attraction service, or the laws of attraction service with me. I always put a bunch of information rambling and rattling down in the description box, so don't forget to check down there for some information that you might find and helpful for you. And that being said, let's just jump right into it. Okay. So it's a new moon in Gemini tonight, right? And if you don't know anything about Gemini, it is a air sign. It's a mutable sign, and it is considered a positive masculine influence. Um, So in astrology or with the zodiacs, you have a positive and a negative. It's the polarity, right? It's not that one sign is considered negative and the other signs are more positive. It's just about polarity, right? Being attracted, the attraction, um, or duality, either or. It's kind of the same. So Gemini is a that's why I say Gemini is a positive sign. Um, And with it being a mutable sign, that means that it is flexible. Um, it's a flexible energy to be able to just kind of go with the flow, move in either direction, and it's easy to connect to a Gemini. I don't know. I got a Gemini. Um, my 19-year-old is a Gemini, and she kind of antisocial, but she is easy to connect to. Anyway, I digress. And then you know another thing with Gemini, it is the twins, which represents duality, two separate parts. And with that duality, it's about understanding um, dark, light, wrong, right, happy, sad, all that good stuff. And if you know the story behind Gemini, or I'll just tell you, um, the twins were brothers who were fathered by a mortal Spartan king, and the other was fathered by Zeus, who was immortal, right? So they shared the same mama, of course, obviously. But the mortal twin died, got killed, and the immortal twin asked Zeus to let him die. But Juice, Zeus instead said, "Why don't you share your immortality with your brother? That way, y'all can live forever, and then y'all can alternate days between Olympus and the underworld, so heaven and hell, dark and light, wrong and right." Okay. Um, so that is the duality of the twins, and why um, Gemini is a sign that kind of understands more than any other sign, both the dark and light, and why they can be a guiding force in how to navigate. What am I trying to say? How to navigate your dark and light. Okay, just how to navigate that. But also, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is communication and thinking. Gemini also rules the third house, which is communication, self expression, your bonds with your siblings, naturally, the twins, they're brothers, okay? Your logic and the skills that you have, but it is also, um, how you express yourself. So, self expression. And with it being the 6th month, six is creativity and the ability to create and the ability to destroy in terms of numerology. And so we are facing a time of um, what it is we're creating. How are we expressing ourselves? And another thing with Geminis, if you know any Geminis, they have what I like to call shiny object syndrome. So, you know, they are easily distracted by anything. If it's shiny, it's going to catch their attention. They can be in the middle of a conversation and they see something and it draws their attention away from whatever it was they were doing. Okay. Um, and because of this, you know, they need to be more grounded. So, with the energy of this new moon, we are being faced with how we connect with others, probably more specifically our siblings, and even those that are closest to us. Okay. Um, our self expression. What are we creating? How are we thinking? What are we communicating? What are we communicating to the world, as well as what are we communicating? Shenanigans. Communicating to ourselves, um, on a conscious, subconscious, and even an unconscious level. And that is important. And I wanted to talk about with the creativity part. None of us create in the same way. None of us necessarily think in the same way. We are all unique and different. And therefore, nothing works exactly the same for any specific individual. If you um, think in terms of like a diet and eating, no diet works exactly the same way for one person as it does for another because their body composition is different, which is why they tell you don't take other people's medicine because that doctor is prescribing that medicine based on that person's age, weight, height, medical history, family history, and all of that stuff. So that's why they tell you you shouldn't take nobody else's medicine. you have to think that same way when you are talking about diet. Yes, the diet can work for you, but it might not work exact. You might have to alter it, alter how you are doing things in order to make that diet work for you. So, I went into keto in 2017. I started I don't really like to call keto a diet because keto is really a lifestyle. You are changing up your lifestyle, and if you stick with it, it becomes a lifestyle. But it's kind of restrictive, um, for the most part. So it might be hard to maintain for some people. But so anyway, I started the keto diet in 2017, and my friend at the time wanted to start it too. I lost like 45 pounds, really 50, on doing keto. And I lost my weight pretty quick. Like by the third month, I was down like 20, 25 pounds. And she was like, "How are you losing this weight so fast?" And I did a lot of research. I did a lot. I researched a lot of crap because I just need to know. So anything that I'm talking to you about, please believe I have researched it, and then I researched it some more, and then I researched what I researched. Okay. But I did a lot of research with keto, and I was telling her that um, like, I'm tall and she's short. I have a natural athletic build, and it's just it's body composition. They have body types if you do any research on it. And I can't think of what they all call right now off the top of my head, but it's, body types. I'm tall. I have a natural athletic build. She's shorter, and you know, I don't know what to call her build right now. Um, so what she needed to do needed to be altered, and I tried to help her with that so that um, the keto would work for her the way that it worked for me. And she was a little frustrated at first, but eventually things started to work. Okay, what's my point in telling you all of this? Um, with this new moon energy and how you are expressing yourself, what are you creating? I want you to not think that what is going to work for somebody else is going to work for you. I hear people talk about meditation a lot. And when they talk about meditation, they talk about you getting still in a quiet space and centering yourself, right? And that's good. You should do that. And you should, especially with Gemini energy, because Gemini energy is um, kind of all over the places. They flexible, so they got like a lot of options. And with that attention span that don't last long, you need to be grounded, and you need to be centered, and you need to be present, right? So it's good to be still and meditate, but don't always take meditation as sitting still in a quiet space, zoning off to some other plane or dimension. Meditation is really about being present in that present moment and understanding where you are in that present moment and connecting to spirit, the divine, your higher self, your ancestors, way showers, and guides, right? You can connect to all of that by reading a book, by painting, by coloring. I color. I got my coloring book sitting over off to the side right now. But doing all of those things. But have you ever sat and read a book, and when you read this book, you've read this page, but you don't know what you read? And you don't know what you read because your mind was off somewhere else. You were thinking about something else while you were reading this page. That's what I mean by being present. So when you meditate, keep the goal is to remain present. The goal is to clear your mind and be in the moment that you are in so that you are aware of you. You are aware of spirit. I can tell y'all, I have been reading and I have gotten messages from spirit in what I was reading. And if you are following this channel, then I'm pretty sure you've probably heard something about the synchronicity. Um, Synchronicities come when you are in tuned. You are in tuned when you are present. Okay. And you also know with synchronicities, they come in the form of numbers, signs, animals, music, reading, words, a message from a person, right? So you can be reading, and if you are present, actually focused on that, whatever it is you read, you can get a message from spirit. That is a form of meditation. If you are coloring, you focused on what it is that you are coloring, you keeping your mind on what you are doing and not traveling off, letting your mind run a million miles per minute, you are in meditation and you can get what it is that you need from spirit, what it is that you need to get from your higher self. So don't always assume that what works for somebody else when they are meditating is going to work for you when you meditate. You can go on a bike ride and have your music on in your ears and be meditating as long as you are focused in that moment on what it is you're doing and you are keeping yourself in the present, not wandering off to the past, not wandering off to the future, not thinking in linear terms, but thinking on the present, on the right now. You ain't even got to have no earphones on. You can just be riding in nature, connecting with nature, and really focusing on nature right then and there. And the fact that you are riding this bike, breathing in, taking the air into your lungs, that prana, the flow of life. More Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and air is, yeah, is communication and intellect, but it is also, air is also about the breath of life, your breathing, and uh, even expression. Okay, so because you are doing what expelling, you inhale and exhale is kind of the same as expelling um, out any negativity or just anything that's not beneficial for you. So you breathe in and take in what you need and exhale out what it is you don't need. And, that is all of that is important. It all connects. Okay. So that is some of the things that you will face with this new moon. And it's a new moon. New moon is the beginning, creating something new with Gemini and that air, breathing in something new and exhaling out the old. Okay, now you really get rid of the old when the full moon comes around because the full moon is a completion, it's a culmination of the things that you have created over that 20 something or so days and then getting rid of it. But we'll talk about the full moon when the full moon roll around. What is it? June 17th, and it'll be in Sagittarius. Funny because Sagittarius is the opposite sign of Gemini. So if you are a Sagittarius, you are celebrating your half birthday this month. Um, so we have this new moon in Gemini, which is the earth sign, full moon in Sagittarius, which is the fire sign. Earth gives fire more energy. Anyway, I digress. Again, we'll talk about that when the full moon rolls around. So just keep in mind, you will be facing, you know, um, what it is that you are creating, because we are in a 6 month. We are also in a 3 year, and Gemini is the third sign. So 3 is the beginning of the mental plane and your conscious self. And I'm talking in terms of numerology here. So it's numerology and astrology. So, but 3 is, you know, how are you thinking? What are you creating? What are you wanting to bring in? What is best for you? 6, what, again, what are you creating? What are you thinking? Because 3, 6, 9, those are all on the mental plane, the conscious self. So, the mind is pretty heavy right now. And what are you creating? What are you willing to tear down, destroy, and get rid of that is no longer serving you? And what are you in turn trying to create and build? What are the bonds that you are building, the relationships that you have going? In your being flexible, it's good to be flexible, but are you also staying grounded, being balanced? The twins is duality. Yes, you have a dark and a light, but you need to bring that dark and light together to balance out. And the way that you bring that balance is by staying grounded, staying in the present, meditating. You learn to meditate daily. You learn to meditate with everything that you do if you are staying present in the moment. What works for somebody else does not necessarily work for you. Their meditation style may not work for you. It You sitting still and like, let's just talk about it with the Gemini energy. You really finna be sitting still? You just kind of all over the place. Remember, I said Gemini is like flexible and they are shiny object. Yeah, like they want to take in so much. They want to learn so much. They want to do so much, and it's just like all over the place, right? So, do you really think you're finna be able to sit still and just like in a one place and meditate? Some people can, and it's good that you learn how to do that. But do you have to do that all the time? Absolutely not. What you need to learn how to do all the time is to stay present, to live in the now. That is a daily life of meditation. Because if you live in the now, you're not stressed about the past, you're not fretting about the future, and you are grounded enough to be able to create the future that you want. That's all I'm saying. All right. So just keep that in mind. What works for somebody else might not necessarily work for you. Channel your energy the best way that you know how. Don't let your mind wander all over the place. Don't be worried about nothing. Don't worry. Just try it. Easier said than done, but try your best not to worry, because what's worrying gonna do? What's it gonna fix? Is it gonna solve anything? Nope. All you're gonna do is create more negativity for yourself. And then do what? Attract more negativity to yourself. And then what? More stress and chaos and more duality. We are about oneness, bringing yourself to the center, balancing yourself out, becoming whole within self, letting go of duality in the terms of thinking everything is separate. There's a right and a wrong. It ain't about that. It ain't about right and wrong. It's about understanding the significance of the dark and the significance of the light, and bringing it together to make you who you are. Okay. So, that's it. Just wanted to talk about what you can expect with this new moon energy, and don't expect for what works for one to work for all. It don't happen like that. Um, and another thing that I do offer is health services, like how to work with your diet and all of that, because you can take an assessment on your attitude towards diet and nutrition, and then I can help you set some goals and all of that crap. Keep in mind, I said I did a lot of research, and I continue to do a lot of research, and um, with diet and herbs and all of that crap that'll be beneficial to you. You can go to consciouslyunconscious.me and schedule an appointment, and I would be happy, so very happy to assist you. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I love you all so very, very much, and I will holler at y'all in the next one.